March 1st, year 2025. In the quiet suburbs of Chicago is a town called Oswego, a place where a doctor has completed 87 years of his journey and finally decided to retire. In order to understand his journey of life, let's rewind and start from a small village, Chak 57, Kot Kalera, which lies in today's Pakistan. His journey in his own words.
I am Dr. Mukhtar Singh Nandra. I am at this time I'm living in Oswego, Illinois, and I was born in pre-partition Punjab in the village Chak number 57, also called Kot Kalra, and it is in the district of Lailpur, now called Faizabad. Um, my childhood was in that some small village, and the village is mostly Kachata village, and having about 15 to 1600 people living there, mostly Sikh community. There was only one Muslim family who had a kolu, which in those days, due to extract oil from the seeds. Um, I went to school in the next village, about a mile and a half. We used to walk every day, and I went up to fourth grade when the partition occurred. Um, in the village, very limited resources. There was a water supply mostly from the wells and a few hand pumps in the town. We had a hand pump in our house, and the houses in that area called Hathas, and there was a big piece of land, and they have a house on one side and a big gate on the other side through which you can have oxen cart coming into the house. Um, the economy was most purely agricultural. Mostly they grew wheat, cotton, and sugarcane. My father mostly he rented a land for agriculture purposes, and we had cotton and mostly wheat one murabba of land, and also he did some carpenter work. In Pakistan, we have three brothers and three sisters. Out of them, two brother and one sister, they died in young age, and other brother we had two brothers who were born in India. The life was pretty well stable there, and we never even thought that there will be partition and so huge immigration from that place till it really happens in 1947.
The rains come to India. It's the monsoon season. Fields are flooded, rivers overflow their banks. And all the time, the bloodshed goes on. As the new dominions of Pakistan and India take over their own affairs, communal hatred flares up in the Punjab. Fleeing from their looted, blood-stained towns comes a new exodus, 1 million displaced persons. Independence has not yet brought them peace. Rejoicing turned quickly into horror and mourning. Throughout this vast land, Hindus and Muslims seek safety in new surroundings. Peace-loving people, theirs is the real tragedy. The fortunate few flee in army transports or in buses. For the masses, it's the weary trail of the road. Carrying their few possessions, they flee from savagery and butchery that has never been exceeded even in India's stormy history. 1 million people become refugees overnight.
In 1947, the bad time came, and there was a partition. To start with, it was thought that it will be battle between Hindus and Muslims, and the Muslim villages and Sikh or Hindu villages were preparing for that fight. And we also had one attack on a village which were repulsed. The we started preparing for these things, and the weapons were made, guns were made. My father made guns and small handguns, and also big, which we call top. And he had those gun barrels from a friend. His name was Ujagar Singh from other village. Probably he was in the Indian Army from where he smuggled it out. So he had made 4 guns during the time he was given free hand to prepare the guns, and he set up a workshop in the field of sugarcane. And he had 2 sisters. They were helping him with the fire pit, which was run with a hand blower, and also the grinder, which also with the wheel drive grinder. And there was a pretty serious accident when the grind wheel broke off and hit my father in the chest. He was unconscious for a few minutes. Then he was brought home, and he took 3 4 days off, and then went back to producing the same thing again. So those big guns were used by the villagers, and one gun was specially made for my father for himself. So when the attack came, they fired the big top, and then the noise was so huge. The attackers, they just fled away after hearing the sound. Then we knew that we are going to leave that part of the country. And my father and my Tayaji, they prepared 2 auction cards. We bought 2 teams of auctions for the cards, and we left the villages about 9 o'clock one day. I don't know the date, but it was 1947. Day of departure from that village, we loaded the stuff on the carts, and my father put one big bag of wheat and flour on the cart, and there was a cord, sikal manja across the top of the cart, and my Tayaji really loaded very heavy stuff on his cart, and then we started from there. And Tayaji's cart will not move because the heavy load. They had to. My father went to him and told him to throw everything away because we are being left behind. We have to move with the caravan. So he emptied the cart. We followed, and our first stop was Avagat. That's about 10 miles from our village. We stayed night. Next day, we were traveling on the road, and we have a buffalo with us, and the buffalo had the cutty, cutty. So we were cutty that went astray. So I went after the cutty to get her back, and I was in the sugarcane field and heard some very funny noises. So I was a little scared and came back to the car, to our kafla, our caravan, and I could not bring the cutty back. So when I came back, I heard that there was some police, British police guard people. They were going through, and they couldn't find the police because the road was occupied by the caravan, and they shot few cattle and buffaloes and also some oxen to make their way on the road. And then we just had continued, and for about 4 or 5 days we kept on going till we came to a stop at the camp at the called Balluka Head. Balluka Head, Balluka name, head means the big river. They had a fall there to produce energy that called head. So we stayed there for 22 days in that camp, and we had a very limited supply of food and feed for the cattle. Somehow, my father and other people too, they went to nearby Muslim villages and bought those essentials at very heavy prices. And then the same place here, there one military guard or military man, he came. He looks like from very dark color from Madras. He took my bike from me, and everybody was mad. Why did you give him the bike? But no, so he came back third day and returned my bike to me, and everybody was so happy to see the bike back. Also, the other incidents here when the army truck came with the rice, and we, myself, my three other cousins, we went there and we had those the one cup of rice in our chagas to not bear. We had a very scarce food supply, and mostly we lived on milk and rice. There was no other food there, and we were stuck there because on the other side of the river there was a large gathering of Muslims waiting for the caravan to come and kill them. So we waited till the military came and they escorted us across the river Ravi. We were on the cart. We were myself, my grandmother, my one sister, and my one cousin, Mukhtar Singh. We were on this cart, and when we were traveling after we crossed the river, we didn't want to go through Lahore because apparent reason because it's dangerous to go through Lahore because of the riots. So we took a bypass. So when we had taken the bypass, there was a huge flood there, and the auction will not pull the cart. So we emptied the cart, except my grandmother stayed on the cart, and I carried my younger sister on my shoulder because the water was up to my hip level. So we walked about 2 miles like that uh, till this water finished, and after that we actually I saw one dead body floating in that flood area with the face downward. Couldn't see the face. So we passed that flood water and then back on the carts. We slowly made it to the border without any incidents after this. After we crossed the border at Wagah border, uh, three of our village people, they jump off their carts and they threw their turbans in the air and start do bole, sonhal, sasriyakal. So I asked my father what they're doing, why they are so happy. He said, we made it safe here, otherwise we could have killed in Pakistan. We are in India now, that's why they are so excited. So we arrived in our village Mitra, which is also a very small village. They did not have any school in that village, so we have to go to a school next town called Mandala. We went DLA, but Mandala is the village where the Sarjeet Singh, the communist leader, is from. So we went to the primary school there. There was only one room for the teachers and one room for fourth grader. I was in fourth grade in Pakistan. Then when he came to the Indian side, they put him in the third grade. And in the fourth grade, I became the monitor of the class, and I went for the scholarship examination too. After the primary school, I went to the same town high school, Khalsa High School, Mandala, and my matriculation was from that school, and I was third in my class in the matriculation examination. After my graduation from high school matriculation, I joined Government College Ludhiana for pre-medical. They called that FSC at the time. This was the best college in Punjab. It took the place of Lahore after the partition, and there was a very high class sports ground there, cricket ground, and amenities. And so I was there for 2 years doing my primary and got interested in sports over there. I started my shot put and high jump in Government College Ludhiana. After my pre-medical, I joined Medical College Patiala in 1958, and over there we were very active in sports too. And I finished medical school in 1963. And I was actually pretty good athlete, and I had a color in athletics from Government Medical College Patiala. I also represented my college in Punjab University sports in high jump. After the graduation from Government Medical College Patiala in 1963, I went for rural training in the Kharad, that's near Chandigarh. 6 months of internship, and then I went to Gulab Devi TB Hospital, worked there for about 9 months. Um, there I met a person by the name Gurdeep Singh, and he is the matchmaker for our marriage. And after the Gulab Devi, I took a residency job in surgery in Civil Hospital Jalandhar. That I did about 1 year. From there, I got a job in Jalandhar Kent as a sub-charge of Civil Hospital Jalandhar Kent, which served about 40,000 people. And I was there, and I was married when I was in Jalandhar Kent Hospital. After serving in Jalandhar Kent till 1969, we decided to go to England for surgical training. There was one doctor by the name Chaturvedi, Mahavir Chaturvedi. He worked with me in Jalandhar Civil Hospital as a pool officer and surgeon. He had a fellowship from London and Edinburgh, and he actually with the motivation for me to follow him. So I went there for my surgical fellowships. So when I went to England, my parents were there. We stayed with them in their house, and first thing I did was took a course in primary basic sciences in Edinburgh for 3 months. So I finished that in May 1970. Immediately after that, I got a job in the ER in Coventry Hospital, which served about 500,000 people. And we were 8 people in the ER, and there was a pretty frequent calls, very busy hospital. And then I took primary fellowship when I was working in Coventry from Edinburgh. After the primary fellowship, I did work in Stoke-on-Trent in the rotational way. I did cardiovascular surgery for 6 months, and general surgery 6 months, and orthopedic 6 months. In Coventry, I was also in general surgery and orthopedics, and also some neurosurgical experience. So after all these all that educational courses, I took my fellowship examination in Edinburgh and passed it in 1973. And I was working as a registrar in surgery. And then I went to London for my London fellowship, and I got it that one in 1974. So I was working as a surgeon and mostly junior jobs. I applied for a job in England. I went to for one interview in Wales, and the response was not very good, and the surgeon or the in charge of that department said, "You have done so well with your fellowships, and what are you doing here? Go back to India, serve your people." So that hit me hard. So I decided to leave their country and decided to go to Canada. In Canada, it was a small hospital. We worked at general surgical things and medical things, with kind of general practice. We went a very interesting friend there, Dr. Lakhveer Singh Sarpal, and Dr. Tilkaraj Malhotra. Malhotra was a very old class fellow from medical school. Dr. Sarpal was with me when we took over Edinburgh Surgical Fellowship. And also there were so many people in Toronto we used to go and see. In 1980, I applied for immigration, and people from Crosby, North Dakota, they were so interested, they contacted their senator, and they got me the immigration within 3 months. So we crossed the border 3 months after the first interview and started practicing Crosby, North Dakota. And that was also small town, but I was much busier surgically, and also we had other friends there. My brother also came to Crosby to practice with me. After he left, there were multiple doctors actually came to help me there. Very interesting place. Uh, we at Christmas time there were party in almost every house. We went to 20-30 parties every Christmas, and we were actually my wife was curling there, and boys played hockey there. I was assistant coach of hockey, so, and also I invented and got a patent on hockey practice equipment, and that was very interesting event. So we had a very good time in Crosby, North Dakota. The boys went to Grand Forks University and graduated from there. Bali graduated from medical school from Grand Forks. Sunny graduated from there, and he went to Caribbean Medical School and graduated from there. The life in Crosby was very interesting. Actually, we consider that our town, apart from India, Crosby is the town. The children grew up there, and we had a very good time. And if somebody asks us where are you from, we will say Crosby, North Dakota.
Year 2001, Dr. and Mrs. Nandra decide to move to Chicago to be close to their sons, Bali and Sunny, and nephew Shami. The age when most people are already retired or thinking about it, Dr. Nandra started a new phase in his life, and that too from ground zero. 24 years later, at the age of 87, he has finally decided to step away from his professional career. Here is a compilation of their remembrances from this chapter of life.
ना है ये पाना ना खोना ही है तेरा ना होना जाने क्यों होना ही है तुमसे ही दिन होता है सुरमई शाम आती है तुमसे ही हर घड़ी सांस आती है जिंदगी कहलाती है तुमसे ही ना है ये पाना ना खोना ही है तेरा ना होना जाने क्यों होना ही है ना है ये पाना ना खोना ही है तेरा ना होना जाने क्यों होना ही है
ਖਾਣ ਪੀਣ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਧੰਦੇ ਹੀ ਹੈ? ਚਾਹ
ਉਹ ਪੀ
ਪਾਣੀ
ਕੇ
ਰੋਟੀ
ਹੈ
ਹੈ?
ਇੱਥੇ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰ ਹੀ
ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਚਾਹ ਤੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਨਾ ਕੱਪ ਕੱਪ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਪੀ
ਹੈ ਭਾਈ
ਚਾਹ ਨੂੰ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਆਏ ਲਓ ਜੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਜੰਮਣ ਭਾਉ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਸੀ ਆ ਹਾਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ
ਸਾਰਾ ਘਰ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ
This was a walk down memory lane for Dr. Mukhtar Singh Nandra. A beautiful journey indeed. We now have the person who made it all possible. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Harpajan Kaur Nandra.
I am Harpajan Nandra and I am Dr. Nandra's wife. I was born in Lahore, Pratapra. Our pin is called Lahore, and we were four brothers and two sisters. We didn't stay there too long. I was about 10 years old when my mom died, and we moved to Pagwara with my older brother. Dad went to Africa. He used to come and visit us, but he stayed in Africa for a long time, and during that time we stayed with my brother, older brother, and his wife. And my dad came back in 1965, and he decided to come to India and settle down there for the rest of his life. Now, after my B.Ed, so we got married. Like my husband said, that there was some mediator. He fixed us kind of. He got us together, and we got married in 1967 January. And after that, I am with him all the time in every thick and thin. Now he's my best friend. And my better half.